Hello friends, welcome to my channel again with another topic of Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7. I am Vijay Lohar, and in this session we are going to discuss about Yum server in Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7. So Yum is not a new topic of Enterprise Linux anymore. We are using Yum server since Enterprise Linux 5 and continue with the Enterprise Linux 7 also. But still I would like to give you a brief intro about Yum. Basically, Yum is used to search, install or remove RPM packages in Enterprise Linux. Yum uses repository to manage software RPM packages. A repository is the collection of RPM packages. Yum can be locally or a remote server. A single repository server can control multiple versions of RPM package as well as package for the multiple platforms. Yum server can be automatically resolve software dependency, and based on system architecture, it can automatically select appropriate version of RPM package from the repository server. So let's see how to configure your Yum server in Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7. So as you can see here, I am logging as a root user, and here is the Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7.3 version of 64-bit, and we are going to continue with the subject. So let's see what we need first. First of all, make sure that your initial configuration of your system is properly configured. As this one is the fresh install operating system, we will have to set some initial configuration like host name or IP address for the interface, and we can proceed further. So first of all, we will set host name for the system. As you can see, host name, there is no host name set right now because this is the default host name. So let's set the host name like host name ctl set host name server1, whatever name you can assign. I am using host name ctl command to set the host name, and now we have set the host name. And the second thing, as if you want to verify it, you can see here, and there is server1 now. So we have set our host name, and the second thing is we'll have to configure our interface. So let's see if there is any ifconfig. My interface name is ENS33, so I'll verify if the IP address is already assigned. No, there is no IP address is configured right now. So let's proceed for the second thing, that is configuring interface. So I will use network management command nmcli to configure our network connection modify of ENS33, that is the name of our interface. So I am going to assign IP version 4, IPv4 address, and that will be 192.168.20.1/24. the mask information IP. If you want to assign gateway information, you can assign here 20.1. I am assigning IP address of server itself, and if you want to assign some DNS address, you can use here IPv4.DNS will be 192.168.20.1. we haven't configured any DNS server right now, but I am assigning any DNS name here, so you don't bother about last like DNS address or IPv4 .DNS. I can search, and whatever server, even you can use this much command to configure Yum server, but I am assigning all information related with the interface like IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, DNS, and DNS search address as well. So we have configured the IP address, and if you want to configure your interface as not to assign IP address automatically, you just want to enable your IP address assigning method, you can use command nmcli connection modify ENS33, and IPv4 method will be address method will be manual. So we have set IP address. Now we can restart our network service or enable our network service so that we can proceed for the further. So nm CLI connection up ENS33, and your interface is up now and it's working. If you want to verify it, you can verify by using command ifconfig ENS33, and you can see here that the IP address 192.168.20.1 is set now. So you can configure with this IP address. So we have done some initial configuration. Even if you want to if you want our local resolver system, so that you can access your YUM server or your host machine, this local server with the host name, you can configure your local resolver file like hosts, and here we are to configure our local resolver system, and that is 192.168.20.1 will be server 1. So if you want to verify if the local resolver server is working properly, you can just ping it out, ping server 1, and as you can see here we are getting reply from this IP address. It means we don't need DNS server right now, but we are using a local resolver server to resolve IP address and host name. So let's proceed for the main topic, and that is YUM server. What we have to do now, first of all, make sure that you have your Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7 distribution DVD, so that you can use that DVD for the YUM server. So as you can see here, I have already inserted my Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7.3 server at x86 64-bit version, and you can see here there is the icon of our DVD, and once I click on that, I can see all the content of DVD. So I have just inserted this DVD, and what first thing I have to do is just see that there is a directory named package, and this directory contain all RPM package of Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7. So you have to copy this in your local system. Right now we are here with the DVD, but you will have to copy this in your local drive. So I have already copied it because it takes some time. So I have before starting this video, I have already copied this for this directory, that is packages, and this directory contains all packages of Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7. So we don't need any more this Red Hat distribution DVD, so we can eject it or let it be here. So what we have to do here is, first of all, you need some RPM package to install first to configure a YUM server. So what package you require, I have already listed here. You need just create repo and vs ftpd. Basically we required YUM RPM package, YUM utils RPM package, but by default that is already installed in your system. That's why I am not listing here, and only the package that is create repo will create your server as a repository server or YUM server. But what the use of vsftpd server? vsftp server, if you want to configure your YUM server for the local system, you don't need that. But if you want to distribute your YUM server or repository server for the other network client, you must have some server which can share your repository information. So I am using vsftpd as a repository sharing server. So what we have to do here is, first of all, we need to install this package, that is create repo and vsftpd. So we have already copied the package directory here, so we don't need to bother about. We will use the traditional commands. First of all, go to access your desktop and the package directory, as here it is. And now I will use command, the traditional command of installing package, that is rpm ivh create repo, and your repo package is installed now. and another one is FTPD. FTPD. So friends, we have already installed our all required RPM package, and that is create repo and FTPD. So what we have to do next is first of all configure your FTP server so that FTP server can share your repository information. So what FTP server is? So first of all, systemctl start FTPD. So your server is active now, and what the basic thing to configure is where etc FTP FTPD.com. This is the main configuration of configuration file of FTP server. We all know that we have previously used in all version. So what we have to do is make sure that your anonymous enable is yes, local enable is yes, write enable is yes, anon I am just enabling anon upload enable, as well as anon mkdir write enable, and just saved it. So we have configured our FTPD server for our YUM server, and what next we have to do is we want to share our repository information using FTPD. So the default share directory of FTPD must contain all the RPM package. So I will move my package directory, this directory, to default share directory of FTPD, that is where FTP pub. So move here MB, move your desktop to and package directory to where FTP pub, which is the default share directory of FTP server. So I'll move this directory, that is the package directory, from this location, that is on my desktop, to where FTP pub, which is the default share directory of FTP server. So as you can see here, the directory has shifted to where FTP pub. You can verify it, where FTP pub, and as you can see here, it's containing package directory. So let's see if our FTP server is working properly. FTP 192.168.20.1, and by default anonymous user is enabled. So we are trying to log in using anonymous account, and the password is, as you can see here, we can get our FTP server. So we are accessing our FTP server. So our FTP server is working properly, and now the main configuration for YUM server. So what we have to do is we will have to create a repository server. We use command create repo v where FTP pub, and package directory will contain all the repo information. So just click on that, and as you can see here, the command create repo is creating repository files for all RPM package in /where FTP pub and package directory. So this location will be the repository, will contain the repository information, and we will use that directory as a repository server. So wait for some time, it will take a while. So friends, as you can see here, that your repository creation process is completed now, or as I can say that your repository server is ready now to share your RPM package to install. But we'll have to configure our client file, that is, you can edit your client file like this. You can use yum.conf file. As you can see here, put your repo here or in separate files, name file.repo, whatever name you want to assign for your repository client file, but the extension must be repo. You can add here your repository server information, or you can use the directory where in the directory etc yum dot repos dot d, whatever name, but the extension must be repo. So I'm assigning the repository file client repository file name as server.repo, and as you can see there is a new file. So what information I have to put here is like yum server 1 name, yum server 1, whatever name you can assign here, base URL will be FTP server, because we are using FTP. Even instead of using FTP server you can use STPP server also, but I am using because we have configured our yum server with FTP, so I am using the base URL as FTP server address, and that is pub slash package was our directory. Sorry, it will be pub and packages, and this directory will is containing our RPM package. So enabled will be 1 and gpg check ck will be 0. GPG check defines whether the integrity of RPM package will be verified or not. I'm disabling this by using 0 option, because we are using RPM package from our distribution DVD, so we don't need to verify the software, and I have saved the configuration. And what I have to do is now I can use command to verify whether my yum server is working. Yum install bind, if there is any bind service need to be installed. As you can see here, I'm unable to install the package right now, because I think IP table service is stopping us to access our yum server. So let's verify. Set and force, we will set and force 0, and now it will disable your IP table. I'm directly disabling it, but make sure that you properly configure to pass your FTP service through your IP table. So let's verify again if it's working. Yes, as you can see here, your RPM package is installing now. So our yum server is working very properly and in fully working situation. So our yum server is working properly. Now we will proceed for some very important and useful commands related with the yum server and yum client. So let's proceed. So first of all, I'll show you yum repo list. It will show you all the repository server you are connected with. So if you want to verify how many yum server are there and what are they, you can easily use command yum repo list, and for detailed information you can even use command option all, which will show you the all enabled your yum server. As you can see here, here is your yum server detailed information, and you are using this repository server. So proceed for the next command, and that is to verify what last operation your yum server has done. As you can see here, that I am using command yum install bind, and it's prompting you yes or no to whether to install or not. But if you want to skip this option, so just you can use command with the option Y, and it won't you ask you to install the package, and it will directly installed. And as you can see here, that is successfully installed. And what I have to do is I'm installing some other package like STPP and star. It will install all the package which is related with the STTP. So I'm not going to install all these packages. And if you want to install like telnet server, as you can see here, telnet server is installing. And yes, so why I did this, because I have to show you something, and that is history information. Now if we see here, that we can see here that we previously did this thing and we installed the telnet server. And if you want to list all the history, you can use command history list all. And now you can see these are the things we have done with yum command, that is install bind, removed bind, installed bind again, and at the end we did installed telnet server. So if you want to verify some specific number of operation, you can use command 3. As you can see here, we installed bind with the yes option, and that is only here. So you can easily use any number of operation to list out what happened lastly. So guys, proceed for the next command, and that is what happened in a particular number of operation. Like you can see here info 3, and you can see here bind was installed. And the next very important command is how to undo the last operation of yum. So you can easily use yum history undo last. So what we did lastly, we did installed telnet server, and when I use command yum history undo last, it will uninstall your telnet server. So if I click here yes, and it will remove your telnet server package from your system. So you can undo your last operation using command undo option with the yum server, yum history. And now if you want to clean up your all history, you can easily use yum history new. And now if we verify the information, we won't get anything because we have cleaned up by using command new. This is the command used to clean up your history or operation list yum has created. So proceed for the next command, and that is if you want to verify what packages are already installed here. So you can use command yum list all installed, and these are the package which is already installed in your system. And if you want to verify what packages are available with the repository server, you can use command yum list all. And as you can see here, this all package is provided by your yum server. So you can use this command to verify whether the what packages are available in your repository server. Even if you are using your online repository server, you can use yum update option to update your RPM packages or the information, or you can use this command yum update STTP to update your package if that is already installed, that is already installed in your system. You can do that. So so if you want to remove this package, you can easily use, as I haven't installed STPD, that's why this warning message is here. So I will use bind because I have already installed bind, so I will uninstall it. So you can use remove option with the yum command to remove. You already know that because all version use this command to install or uninstall the software. So there is another important command that if you are knowing the configuration file name but you don't know how or by which RPM package that is in your system, you can use command yum provide like FTP vsftp vsftpd. Like I'm using this main configuration file of vsftpd server. So which packet provided this file? You can easily verify that your package name is vsftpd, which is providing you vsftpd file. So if you don't know the RPM package name but you know the configuration main configuration file name, you can easily find out which package provide this main configuration file. So proceed for the next. If you want to verify or search a package in your repository server, you can easily use command search FTP and it will provide you all the RPM package with FTP option, that is, as you can see here, FTP, TFTP, FTP, whatever words that is containing FTP or whatever RPM package which is containing name FTP, that is listed here. So you can find out any RPM package if you don't know the proper name of your RPM package, but you have some short name, so you can find out using that short name with the repository server. And if you want to verify the package detail, you can easily use command yum info like STTP. STTPD is not installed in my system, but I am using this command, and by your FTP server this reply is here that it's for x86 RTX. It's not installed yet, but we are getting information about the STTPD RPM package containing by your repository server. So you can easily find out the information and further you will decide whether it has to install or not. So guys, as you can see here that yum server is not a very managing yum server is not a very critical task in Red Hat Enterprise Linux. It's a little bit very similar to previous version of Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and it's very easy to operate. And I hope you like this video, and if so, please keep watching and sharing for further topics of Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7. We'll continue with the next topic in our next video, and of course please don't forget to subscribe. And at this time, bye bye.